Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the D2D Experts and D2D Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
As the leading distributor of structural pest control, Univar provides training, services, and an arsenal of products to help you grow. Our 80 years of experience and industry-leading resource, pestweb.com, provide unmatched opportunities for your company to succeed. Learn more at pestweb.com or call 1-800-888-4897.
Okay, so what's up? Okay, I'm here with Kris, with Kriss Construction in Maryland on this beautiful day. Yesterday was a lot prettier than today.
True story.
So welcome to the podcast. My name's Sam Taggart, and for those of you guys that don't know me, but we're about to dive in. So I actually came all the way to Maryland just for this podcast. No, actually you hired me out here today. What did we do yesterday? Tell them everybody about yesterday.
So yesterday was first day of training with D2D. These guys are pretty cool. Hired Sam and his buddy to come. We met them out in Vegas, and either way, so him and Jonah flew in yesterday and put them in front of Kriss Construction sales team, and got into some serious training.
Was it? I mean, just a waste of money, or was it worth it?
No, I think it was.
Put you on the spot. Not to like put you on the spot or anything.
I honestly think it was money well spent.
Money well spent.
You guys worked your butts off, put together a really good training seminar for us upstairs, which actually the guys are still upstairs.
Oh, they're still jamming.
That's why we bugged out. So.
And then I'm going to toot my own horn. So I went out and knocked roofing.
There we go.
So those of you guys that don't know roofing, yesterday we go out. And before I'm like asking the guys, it's like 5 o'clock, right? I mean, this isn't even a full day. And I was like, so what's your guys' biggest day? One of them was like 5, one of them was 4, one of them was like 9. And I was like, okay, you're the best? Okay, good. Other than Kris.
Other than me, I actually had a record. But
Kris has the record. But anyway, of all of his salespeople, the guy did $209,000 last month. And I was like, what's your best day? Get, inspections or whatever. He's like 9. So I was like, okay, that's the number to beat. So we went out. Did 10 myself. I'm going to throw that out there.
He did. True story.
True story. We closed 2 of them, like that day. I mean, just right then.
He actually made us work through dinner time. I was ready to go at 7. He's like, nah, we only have 7 leads. We got to get 10.
I got to beat the record. So I now officially can say that I'm a good roofing sales dude.
You are the winner.
I'm the winner.
Champ.
No, I didn't. I just wanted to go prove a point to all them to be like, guys, there's a new level you guys could be doing every day. But anyway, let's dive into your story. So how'd you get started in roofing? So we're actually here in your kitchen, but in his office kitchen, not his kitchen.
This is our showroom.
This is showroom.
Yeah. So crazy story. How did I end up in a kitchen design center? Starting out as a roofing and siding contractor, pretty crazy. 28 years ago, started my own gig with the old F-150. Ladder racks, and I did everything. I did the installs, I did the selling, I got the leads, all the billing, and where, of course, you already met all the girls yesterday. I got 5 girls that do all the administrative stuff for us now. But either way, started out 28 years ago and have really just built the business up from 1 truck to 2 trucks to 3 trucks to 4 trucks to 5 crews to 10 crews to 3 states to 4 states. You've seen a little bit of my story.
That's awesome. No, we're going to dive into that. Today, actually, we're going to talk on kind of a little bit of his journey and the lessons he's learned over his 28 years in business. He's one of the staples in roofing, and he's also added a kitchen and design center. He does the siding. He does, what other things do you do in the business?
Full service. So we've built hundreds of additions. Again, that's actually how we got into the kitchen design center. We started talking about that a little bit last night, but from doing so many siding jobs, folks were asking, hey, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, everybody wanted some extra living space. So they said, Kris, we love your company. You did a beautiful roof. You did beautiful siding. Can you build us an addition? We're like, of course, we can build anything. So we start building the additions, and then next thing you know, they were like, well, that's close to our kitchen. Can you remodel our kitchen? Like, of course we can.
It's just, it just turns into this.
Exactly. So we did the roof, the windows, the siding, then the addition, and now we built the kitchen. And they're like, well, our bathroom's pretty busted up too. You want to do that? I'm like, sure we can.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So it's just taking advantage of, you already got a relationship, you've already got a customer.
Yep.
Might as well leverage that, you know.
We've been leveraging for about 28 years.
It's awesome. So we're gonna go into a little bit his whole philosophy. It's been so fun, honestly, just being out here with you guys. I actually slept at his house last night. He's like, "You want to stay in my castle?" No, I'm just kidding. So I go in. First off, he picks me up in his, what is it, Avila?
It's Alpina.
Alpina is BMW Alpina, and I was like, oh dang, that's nicer than my Kia, I guess. And, no, but he comes up, he's got his Maserati and his Range Rover. He's got a bar in his house, and it's like, just, you know, and I was just like, wow, this guy knows how to live. And he's like, oh yeah, we're going down to Florida in a couple weeks and go hang out on my yacht. I'm like, oh dang. So one thing that I've seen, but then what was really cool was I saw the other side, not just the showy side, but it was the tender giving side and the generous side. As I watched you with your guys, and as I watched you with your stepdaughter, and as I watched you with like how you interacted, and I was like, man, he's got a big heart too. Like, you know, like this guy, he has lived, you know, he has lived a good life, and he has sure done a lot of good for a lot of people. So the main focus of today is really, how do you work hard and that grind, play hard, and just really be abundant, and then give back. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff.
You really make me blush.
No, the coolest. Done to the podcast. Didn't blush. Did my no.
Too much.
But at the end of the day, like I've actually been inspired since I've been out here, and that's why I was like,
awesome.
we need to do a podcast. So I guess for you, what has been, I guess, that initial journey of the work hard, because you still work hard, but right. I want to hear the 25-year-old version of Kriss work hard version versus today. But like, you know what I mean? Like, what was that like? You told me last night a little story about how you were like, how your whole business got started based on this. Yeah, tell us that story. That was interesting.
So primarily the insurance restoration business.
Yes, that piece of it.
So that piece of it was pretty simple. Business was up and running. Couple 2-3 years into it, making some good moves. Got into the insurance restoration business a little bit, primarily doing roofing and siding, of course, and ended up getting a nice relationship with Allstate Insurance Company. I was their go-to siding guy, and sounded like a great position to be in because Allstate's huge. They had a big hailstorm over in Columbia, and this was, again, early 90s. So they would send me out to all of their claims. The claims were called in because the folks' aluminum siding had dents everywhere. It was destroyed. So I would go out, and my job was to try to match the aluminum siding for the homeowners, and in that way it would limit the size of the claim for Allstate. In essence, I was there to save Allstate money. Mm-hmm. As a young kid, I didn't realize it. I thought, hey, I'm getting all this work. It's great. I'm going to go there. I'm at least going to get one quarter of a house of siding job. You do 4 of those, equals a whole house. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So, long story short, every one I would go look at, as soon as I pull up, there's another contractor sign there. And I'm like, man, this guy's everywhere. So I would match the siding. I would get my results back to Allstate. No matter what happened, I never got the job because the insurance, that guy was an insurance contractor, and he already knew how to get this whole house of siding approved. So I went out and looked at about 40 or 50 jobs for Allstate, saved them $0, and this guy got about 50 jobs, all houses of siding.
This guy's rolling in the bank, driving the BMW.
He had a nice car, way nicer than mine.
Yeah.
I was still only F-150.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking at getting an F-150. I might be upgrading. I might be upgrading here from the Kia in the next 5 weeks. So, love that.
So, long story short is I wasn't a fan of this guy. I worked really hard, did everything Allstate asked me to do, and I got no business out of it. So I went and really kind of dug into what is this guy doing, and talked to some customers, and like, oh yeah, well, him and all his guys, they were already here the day after the storm. They came and talked to us. They contracted with us that whatever work the insurance companies deemed necessary, they would take care of that, and they were going to give them some upgrades, some upgraded siding, and everything else. And they're like, why the heck do we work with this guy? You know, he has good references and on and on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I literally just started knocking doors and put my flyers together and then started knocking the doors. Hey, I'm Kriss with Kriss Construction with F-150, and I do my own work, so I'm a little different than that guy because he has subcontractors. We have all our own guys, and I do a really good job. I'm a young guy, and I would get 1 and 2s in every neighborhood where he has 5s and 10s of deals. But I kept on pecking away at him, and then we got good, and I hired some sales guys and some marketing guys, and kept on going with it.
I love it, and it would have been, and this like little ego in this young 25, or whatever year old,
A little bit.
is literally like, I'm not going to work for that punk. I'm just going to do it myself. And,
No.
and I love that though. Like it's this competitive side of like, I hate losing, and I think a lot of times we fail to remember that competition in ourselves and like speak to that and say, hey, we can win. Like let's bring that little competitive kid out of us.
Don't be afraid to win.
And don't be afraid to go to bat for like against the big dog that's coming and smashing signs in your neighborhood.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden you're just like, well, it's okay to have my 1 or 2 in there. Like he knows who I am now. Like what's up? And
they actually called me too.
Really?
Yeah, the guy's like, hey, you're in my neighborhood? I said, whose neighborhood?
Oh, I love it though. Like it's funny on the Facebook group. We've had some people ask like, hey, what do you do when somebody else is in your neighborhood? And that's my response. It's like, what do you mean your neighborhood?
Exactly.
This is a neighborhood.
Right on.
Mine, yours. I'm going. If you want to go head to head with me in here, then feel free because I'm gonna stomp on it.
There you go.
So I love it. Like friendly competition is big. Like make sure to never back down in a challenge. Like I think that was like one thing I saw so funny how you're just like, screw this guy, I'm gonna do that. Like
Yeah. Well,
so-
I wanted a nicer car too.
Exactly. Need a new truck. So then the other question is, so you went out, you set on this journey, it all sounds rainbow butterflies, but like what were some of the hardships? What were some of like the biggest challenges you ran into as you're just trying to get your business off the ground and trying to get things rolling?
I think just the basic growth of the business, whether it's small growth or large growth. Like I said, we actually did all of our jobs ourselves. I had 2 trucks, and I had friends that I had grown up with. We put together a siding crew, and we did a fantastic job. But my marketing and my marketing skills exceeded the amount of work that my guys could do. I think I was telling you that last night is, my guys could do one house a week, and before you know it, I was selling 10 houses a week. So I had to hire some subcontractors. We would vet some subcontractors, of course, check out all their work, make sure they did, that they were a good company, and then we added to the subcontractors. So that was kind of a struggle because I have my buddies that I grew up with. We all worked on this truck together. Now I have 3 other subcontractors that are knocking out all the work. And it ended up just being one of those things where like they ended up either becoming sales guys with us or project managers, or end up having to go their separate ways to grow the business. And for a friend, it's kind of tough because you're like, hey, you kind of worked yourselves out of a job because this is what the industry is going to require. And at a young age, I had to make that decision. And again, I'm glad I made the decision, and I think my friends that I'm still friends with, I think they definitely respected that decision.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What do you feel like were some of the biggest wins? Like, where were some of those moments where you're like, oh, I'm actually doing good. Like I got this. Like, did you have any moments or experiences?
Oh yeah.
It was just kind of like, boom. I'm like.
So, probably one of the best ones was there was a storm, 5 years later, and the big guy that I was up against at the beginning of the story, he came into one of my neighborhoods that I had already owned.
Okay.
And I had about 50 signs up.
Oh, that's gonna feel good though.
That was good. So within 5 years, I was him times probably 2.
You were the big guy.
Yeah.
So he's looking and being like, dang, who's this guy? Did you ever send him a picture and be like, remember when I was in your neighborhood? Your neighborhood?
No, I kind of left.
I know, I'm just saying. No, but
I can be really cocky when I'm the small guy, but when you're the big guy, you
you
just
don't
like
need to be. You don't need to be. No, that's awesome. So fast forward, you've obviously ran a really successful company. It's thriving. It's kind of on, I don't want to call it cruise control because that sounds boring, but like, it's cool to watch it. It just kind of runs itself. Like, you're like, I don't even know. Like, we ask you questions, you're like, I don't even know. She does all that, or he does that. You know what I mean?
It's above my pay grade.
It's above my pay. Yeah, and tell us kind of how, like, what are some of the best practices you kind of did to get you to that point where you feel like it's crazy. Like, you live a good life, and the thing just kind of runs. Like,
I think, and it's probably obviously not just my business, but any really successful business it's about people. So if you surround yourself by really good people and they have the same work ethic as you do, and the same beliefs and the same core values, and I think that'll go a long way. And I've been absolutely blessed. I mean, I have great people that work with me at Kriss Construction. One of my main guys, Wade, he's been with me for 20. Again, he was on the work truck. He was on the siding truck. He and I decided. Now he's the one building all these beautiful kitchens. 25 years later, So having people like that really, makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think like that kind of segues us into this next piece, which is really taking care of your people, because I think it's really powerful how you've this play hard mentality, but it's like you told me a little philosophy of like, okay, I give these people experiences, and tell us kind of that philosophy of like how you've been able to maintain and retain these core people that are really key influencers and players in this business. But like, what have you done to kind of cultivate and build off of those people and take care of them?
I think a lot of it, again, just the basic culture of Kriss Construction is, again, my motto I got from my dad was work hard, play hard. He worked very hard. He always had 2 jobs. But on the weekends, we played hard. We went boating and went to stock car races and whatever cool was going on. We were getting dirty with it. But no, the work hard, play hard thing and with our company is a couple things that I've done. For one, I respect everybody that works with us. It's important. You and I were doing some other training things today, talking about the importance of the administrative staff that maybe some of my sales guys might take for granted, and how we want to change that culture in our company. Just the respect and really giving back and being there, talking to everybody. Again, I'm their equal. We all work together. I never say, hey, that guy works for me. We're a team. We're family. I think that right there means, makes it a lot. Just it's a great environment to work in. I mean, everybody, when I come in or overhear stuff, everybody's gonna laugh, and they have that camaraderie, which is good. And a lot of the camaraderie has really gelled here probably the last 4 or 5 years since we've incorporated these company trips that everybody talks about. So we started that, I think this year was our 4th or 5th year in a row, but we normally go late February, early March, and we go somewhere exotic. This past, we just got back from Cancun, so we had 34 of us. The employees and their spouses or girlfriends or significant others, and just having that environment with my retail guys and my installers and my sales reps and my utility guys, my administrative staff. Everywhere you walked in the resort, you would see a Kriss Construction person.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
So what do you feel like on those trips really brought you guys together?
So like I said, it's great. I mean, in essence, just seeing the different departments, because keep in mind, we're all over the place. We're in Maryland, we're in Virginia, we're in Pennsylvania, we're now in Florida. We're doing retail work, we're doing insurance work. There'll be months that certain people won't see each other. But when you go to Cancun and you're on a resort and you're at the pool bar, kind of hanging out, and you got a whole group of people and they're talking about the ups and downs of Kriss Construction and the worst customer we had this year and the best customers that we've had this year. It's cool. I mean, from an owner's perspective to walk into a pool bar and there's all your peeps there hanging out, sunning and fun, and you can't really put a price on that.
Yeah, I think that's powerful, and I think sometimes it doesn't even have to be an exotic trip. I think, it's interesting how, at your house last night, you're like, I built this to entertain. And I think, and I asked you, I was like, well, do you bring your people over here or like your sales guys? And he's like, yeah, like all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like over to the owner's house. Like I think a lot of leaders, they have this fear of like getting too close or fun or having a good time with their people. But like, I think that's one thing that you've been able to offer your people that they would.
I'm the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, that's what I was like. That's what I think was what's made this company really cool since I've been here is just you can tell like it was funny. Like I told one of your guys, I was like, hey, I'm sleeping at Kriss's house, and he's like, oh, dude, you'll love it. So you go and show me this sick outdoor kitchen area that's not the freaking screen door kitchen. It's like
sorry, Don, I know you wanted a screen door.
I know, it was much better than a screen. I mean, you just built it so it was like meant to really entertain, and you can tell that that's like, when people feel entertained in their job, that's like, wow, like I get my fulfillment, my entertainment through my work.
Right.
I think a lot of times it keeps them around and it keeps them excited, engaged, and they feel part of this culture, right?
Right.
So kind of moving on, so like playing hard, this is an interesting question. I've been asked this quite a bit. So there's always this balance between, and I've been conflicted with this. It was funny, there was time right before this, is I was the type that was really stingy. Most sales guys, exact opposite, right?
Most sales guys get paid whatever it is, they're ready to spend twice as much of whatever they just got paid.
Somehow, right?
Which makes really good sales guys, though.
It does.
Broke sales guys are the best sales guys.
Yep. And it was funny because in my last company, everybody's like, why are you leaving Solstice? I was like, guys, I make that money, but all I do is just reinvest it. I live off of my investments. And most people are like, how are you living off your investments? Like, well, I made a ton of money when I was young. I put it into real estate, but I never bought anything cool though.
You bought the razor?
I had one buy, the razor. That was it. And now I'm able to do a lot of things. But then I also look back and I'm like, it would have been nice to have, a little bit of fun. And I think what's cool is you've been able to really live and play hard in the sense of getting nice things and taking nice trips and going on, being able to live a little. And I think I think that there's some balance. And so if you're watching this and you're on the other side of like, hey, I spend way too much money and I'm always in debt and I'm always scraping for money, like, then don't listen to this. Like, or you plug your ears. Like, you don't need any more advice on how to spend money, but it's
save some of it.
It saves some of it. But I think that there's something to say that was almost a wake up call for me, was just like, man, live a little bit. Like, it's okay to buy something nice every once in a while and feel like a little bit more abundant. And that was one thing that's just been inspiring to me since I've been here, to be honest. Like, it was like, man, this guy has a good time. And you can tell that his people are attracted to that. You can tell that your people are like, I'm going to be like Kriss one day. I'm going to,
Careful what you wish for.
Exactly. So now the next piece is really just giving back. And this is the soft side that really was like inspiring to us is, as leaders, and if you're watching this and you're making great money, that's the interesting part about our job is we have the opportunity to make as much money as we want. Like, we literally, on these podcasts you've listened to and have interviewed, and I've been, and people making millions and millions of dollars. And what's crazy is I've worked with and associated myself with a lot of them that are very, very like, ooh, it's me, my money. And what's so cool is your ability to give back. So tell us a little bit about like why you're so passionate about some of these organizations. What are some of the organizations that you've liked working with, and how you've kind of integrated that into your lifestyle?
Gotcha. So I guess motivation-wise, again, just the way I was brought up. My father was the same way. My father was a very generous guy. Always, would give back to the homeless and whoever he could help out. He kind of set the standards. It just seemed like it was second nature for him. It seemed like it was expected from us. It was pretty much that simple. And didn't always do it as a younger person. I'd help my dad out. We would go give turkeys out to homeless or some less fortunate folks every Thanksgiving. But either way, when I started being a little bit more successful in business, and when you have that additional income, you just want to give back. It was pretty simple, and it's been baby steps, and started going to Mount Christian Church probably about, 13 years ago. Dawn dragged me to church. I wasn't a church guy. I'm like, here we go. So he drags me to Mountain Church, and I went for it. I'm like, this place is cool. I like it, So started helping the church out, and then was looking for some other organizations, that we could give back to, like around Thanksgiving time, like my dad did. And they hooked us up with the Extreme Family Outreach Program right there in Edgewood. And just a super cool program. They're all about faith-based, and they're about just taking care of kids. When kids get out of school, between those hours when they're out of class and before their parents get home, you got a lot of idle time to get into some mischief or go in the wrong direction. They want to stop all that, so they jump in these vans. They got balloons going, they got snacks going, they put a big tarp out, put all these kids down on the tarp, teach them a little bit about God. They give them a hug, they give them the snack, they teach them, show them that they're wanted and loved, and it's just cool. I've seen them do it, and we've been supporting this program for about 11 years now, and we just went to their yearly gala. Rewrite a child's story, and we're of course corporate sponsor of that, and been quite some time. But anyway, long story short, now we're seeing the little kids that we met 11 years ago. They're going to college, and their heads on straight, and they're giving back to the community. They're giving back to this same program, and it's just like, hey, I'm a part of this. How cool is that?
Yeah, and it's like, looking back, you may not have understood the journey of that little kid, and now he's going to college, but it's like, pivot that guy's life and say, let's not put him on the right track. Where would have he ended up?
I think about it all the time, and that's why we do what we do. It's just so important.
And, I even think about even this job, like, we're not a charity, right? Bringing people into door-to-door sales, but it's like, you're teaching people how to work hard. You're taking them out of a society where normal is 40, 50 grand, and you're putting them in an opportunity to make 100, 200 grand, right?
Right.
And I think just that alone is almost in the charitable aspect. And I think what's interesting, and this is a random tangent that just came to my head, I felt like I should say it, but is recruiting. So many people look at recruiting as, I'm just trying to make money on people. But if you started looking at recruiting like, hey, I'm trying to do a service for those that haven't seen door-to-door, haven't seen this opportunity to kind of change to be more of a business owner, more of a franchise owner, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm sure we've all, like those that are listening to this that have led and recruited and helped a lot of people, you've seen those, I've pivoted this whole guy's life trajectory, that's not even a word, trajectory.
You're good at
I'm good at making up
combining words. There's symbolisms.
Yeah, what did I say yesterday? Symbioticism or something?
It was BS, whatever it was.
But it's this changing of trajectory, which I think is so powerful, to be that guy that was the catalyst to that guy's new future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you've done, what's it called? The
Extreme Family Outreach.
And then what was interesting was the painting, or not the painting, but the picture on your wall with Paul McCartney and this whole Make-A-Wish.
Oh, yeah, the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yes,
It's huge.
so, that's a big one that it sounds like you're pretty in with.
Yeah, we've been doing that for probably about 5 years now.
Yeah, and so tell us a little bit kind of how, it seems like God kind of said, okay, let's put, what's your wife?
Dawn.
But Dawn and her daughter,
right.
and you two together, and I feel like maybe having a stepdaughter with special needs is really kind of almost, how's that kind of affected you and made it more of a reality, I guess?
It's all positive, absolutely all positive. Totally blessed, and So Brianna, she has Down syndrome, special needs, very high functioning. You've met her. She's a trip.
She's awesome.
She keeps you on your toes. So I just she's just absolutely fantastic. But either way, between Dawn and how Dawn has been a mother to Bree, has just been such an eye opener for me, and how blessed they both have always felt before they even met me or anything. It just was great to be around, and they're just two very strong women. So that's just really cool. But back to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We had some mutual friends took us to our first. They have whatever their big fundraiser, probably about 6 years ago, and we went there, and it was just like awesome. And the folks that put this thing together, they actually fund the entire event out there. They have this beautiful mansion right up the road here. It's the Verdun Valley Farm, I believe what it's called. But either way, the place is just phenomenal. And either way, they cater it and everything else, and then all the funds get donated directly to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's insane.
That's so cool.
I was like, all right, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's like how do you get it? So to wrap things up, I think it's such an inspiring thing to watch. Somebody go play hard and work hard, but also have that like integrity and almost like your identity is to I need to give back. Like you have this like natural give back mentality, which I want to invite everybody that's listening or watching this to check themselves and say, okay, what am I doing to really contribute back to society and the community, whether it's locally or nationally or even just like when you're out knocking, like how many times there's opportunities to just be like, hey, let me help you take that trash out real quick, or just those small little things. And I think it's just a really important attribute. So kind of hold on real quick, I gotta go press reset real fast. But real fast. So if you're watching this, we're still going. The last thing that I want to ask is, I ask this with everybody, is if you could give one piece of advice to the door-to-door community, you can either pick rep or leader, owner, leader, manager, whatever. You can pick general, one of those three. What piece of advice would you give them?
Piece of advice I would give to the door knocker.
Okay, the rep.
To the rep is obviously don't be thin-skinned for the new guys. If you've already been doing this, you're not thin-skinned. You're a rock star. That's what we do. But I would definitely say it's always about the next door. We're gonna get a zero, a zillion no's. You're that much closer to a yes. And then the biggest thing is, put your hours in. Like you made us do last night. I wanted to go home at 6:30. You're like, no, we're getting 10 leads. So we got your 10 leads. We were there until 8 o'clock last night and signed a bunch of deals. So just the persistence, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah, and amen. Like I think like it's funny. We try to like fancy and sugarcoat this whole like how do we do it? What's the secret?
Right.
That's it. I mean,
we work.
Plain simple.
Yeah.
You have some thick skin, you get your ass out there and you go hustle.
Yeah, I got kicked in the teeth and then I won. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm missing a tooth.
I love it. Well, thanks, Kriss, for being on the show. This has been awesome.
Absolutely.
A blast. If you guys like this and feel inspired, please share this. Give it a big thumbs up right now. Give it a like. And help others kind of jump on the same motto. You work hard, you play hard. And you go give back.
There you go.
So thank you guys. I'm Sam. This is Kriss with the DDE podcast, and